Hello students, today we will see about the second module of the second lesson, Land, Soil, Water, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife Resource of class 8th Geography. Already in the previous module of this lesson, we have seen about the land resources. Now in this module, we will see only about the soil resources. Okay, now we are going to see about the soil, a very important resource, natural resource. Do you know it takes hundreds and millions of years to make just 1 centimeter of the soil? And this soil is formed due to the weathering process. What is meant by weathering? It's a breaking up and decay of exposed rocks by temperature changes and frost action, and also due to the action of animals and human being. These rocks, they break into pieces and they form into soil. So weathering is an important process in the formation of soil. And you can see the thin layer of the grainy substance covering the earth's surface. On the land you can see thin grainy substance, that is soil, and it's very much linked with the land. Over the land, if you have that soil and if the soil is fertile, then that area, that land can be used for agriculture. And this soil, if you want that to be fertile, should contain some minerals and it should have some humus content. Okay, then only you call it as a fertile soil. Now we will see about a soil profile. If you take a cross section of the soil, if you want to plant a seed or a sapling, you dig the a little pit, and you can see the top layer of the soil how it will be, and the second layer and third layer how it will be. So that is what we are going to see here. So the soil profile has 4 sections. The topmost layer is called topsoil. It will have the humus content in it. What is meant by humus? The dead and decayed parts of plants and animals which turn into your manure, natural manure. So that is the humus content. So that helps in the growth of the plants and trees. That is called humus. So that is there in the topsoil. The second layer of the soil profile, when you go deeper, you will have subsoil, which will have sand and also silt and also little clayey it will be, sticky it will be. And the little down if you go below in the soil profile, the third layer will be weathered rock material, where you can see pebbles, small stones, everything mixed with the soil. And the final one, you can see the bedrock or the parent rock. So this we call it as the soil profile. Factors of soil formation. Here you can see there are 5 different factors which lead to the soil formation. First one, let us take parent rock. Parent rock is the one which determines the color of the soil, texture of the soil, chemical properties and the mineral content of the soil, and also the permeability, means whether it will absorb the water or not absorbing the water. All are based on the parent rock. Based on the parent rock only, the soil will have its characteristics. Second, we are going to see is about climate as a factor. When I say climate, it includes both temperature and rainfall. When there is a high temperature, the rocks are expanding, and the low temperature it contracts. So that may lead to the disintegration of rocks, and that is weathering. And there is another climate factor which is the rainfall is there. Rainfall, when there is a heavy downpour of rain from these rocks, some minerals can be soluble. So when it gets dissolved and becomes a solution, that is also one way of weathering. So that also leads to the soil formation. Third factor is the relief, the land, how it is. Relief here means the relief feature, the land, physical feature of the land. Whether they are a mountain area, having an altitude, having a slope, so that they have a soil erosion, or whether it's a plain area, okay, where the soil is accumulated, whether it's a foothills area where the soils get deposited. So all this are also the factors which lead to the soil formation. Next factor is flora, fauna and microorganism. You know what is flora and fauna? Plants and animals. They also affect the rate of humus formation in the soil. The last factor is time. Definitely, time is the one which determines the thickness of the soil profile, and that is the one which leads to the soil formation. It takes hundreds and millions of years for the soil formation. The soil which is formed by those factors face major threats. What are those major threats? Soil gets depleted or degraded, we call, and it also erodes. Soil erosion takes place. Both human and natural may lead to this soil erosion and degradation of the soil. The factors like deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides, and due to the heavy downpour of rain, landslides and floods can occur. So these are all the factors which lead to soil degradation. So we should find out some measures to conserve the soil. So what are the methods we will see now? The first one is mulching. Mulching is the one where the bare ground between the plants is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw, which helps to retain the soil moisture. You can see that in the picture given there, how between the crops which are grown, you can see the straw, and that is there to conserve that soil erosion and also to retain the soil moisture. The second one is a contour barrier, where stones, grass, soil are used to build barriers along the contour, and trenches are made in front of the barrier to collect the water. You can see that from the picture given there, contour barriers. Barrier is the one where they don't allow that to pass through. Okay, so that is the barrier. They don't allow the soil to erode. So that those contour barriers are either made with stones, grass or soil itself. The third one is the rock dam, where rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. Since the speed of the water may erode more soil, here we want to slow down the speed of the water so that the soil erosion doesn't take place. So this prevents gullies and further soil loss. The fourth method of soil conservation is terrace farming. These are made on the steep slopes so that flat surfaces are available to grow crops. It resembles a giant's steps like structure. They can reduce surface runoff and soil erosion. Intercropping is a type of soil conservation method where different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rainfall or the soil erosion. Contour plowing is another method of soil conservation. Plowing parallel to the contours of the hill to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope. So they are parallel to the contours. Around the hill, the cultivation will be done. The last method of soil conservation is shelterbelts. In the coastal and dry regions, rows of trees are planted to check the wind movement to protect the soil cover. Not only that, we have this shelterbelts along the hilly areas also. So thus we come to the end of this module where we studied about the soil, its formation, factors which lead to the soil formation, and what are the threats we have to the soil and how it can be conserved. Later you are going to watch a video based on this soil profile and how when you grow the trees on the hilly areas, it protects the soil erosion, and about the land area in a nutshell in a video. So watch the video and try to understand the concept. Thank you.
It seems like you really love fruits, but did you know that in the future we may not have any fruits? In fact, we may not have any food at all. Yes, you're right. No fruits, no food. Now one question. Do you know where all fruits and food come from? You're right. All food comes from plants. But do you know where plants grow? You're right. Plants grow on our planet Earth, on the Earth's crust. But did you know we're not able to grow plants everywhere on the Earth's surface? The area where we can grow fruit is very, very limited. Okay, you don't believe me? Let's use that apple and knife as an example. Think of the apple as the planet Earth. Now can you tell me how much of the Earth is covered with water? Yes, you're right. If we cut the Earth apple in 4 parts, 3 of those parts would be water, so we can't grow any food plants there. So, only 1/4 of the Earth there is land. But again, we can't use all the remaining land not covered by water to grow food either. Do you know why? You're right. On half of this available land, we have mountains, deserts, and ice. So we can't grow any plants for food there. So let's cut this piece of apple into 2 parts. Now we're only left with 1/8 part of an apple. 1/8 part of the Earth. Now on this part, we have cities, buildings, roads, and a place to grow plants for food. Did you know that only 1/4 of this part is available for growing plants? You look worried. So this is the only piece of land where we can grow our food. But did you know we can only grow food on the topsoil of the land? Please peel this piece. So this little piece of skin is the only place where we can grow food. Oh, you're saying we also have that part available for growing food. For that, you need to understand the soil profile. Only on topsoil can we grow plants. Come with me into the garden, and let's understand why only topsoil can be used for growing plants. Wow, is that your rabbit? That's why you brought carrots. Oh, he can help us here. Look at the soil in this garden. Our soil has 4 layers. These layers are topsoil, subsoil, parent material, and bedrock. Can you ask your rabbit to dig a hole for us in the soil? Rabbits make their homes in the soil by digging holes. They can dig really, really fast. Great, he is really quick. Oh, I see you're rewarding him by giving him the other carrot. Now let's look at different parts of the soil. The part in which your stick is showing is called the topsoil. Plants and trees grow here. It is very rich in nutrients, which are good for plant growth. It also contains lots of worms, which are helpful for plants. The upper part is called the humus, which has a lot of dead leaves and dead animals. These dead leaves and animals are slowly decaying with the help of soil bacteria. This process helps form organic nutrients, which are necessary for plants to grow. This part is called subsoil and has small particles of rock. This part is called parent material. These are the parent rocks which get broken down slowly and become smaller and smaller to form the soil. So this is the part in which the parents of topsoil and subsoil live. Aha! These are big rocks. These big rocks are kind of grandparents of the soil. They break down and form the parent material. Then the parent rocks break down due to the pressure, temperature, and water. This is how subsoil and topsoil are formed. Please uproot a plant. I want to show you something. Oh, look, it's an earthworm. Don't worry, they aren't harmful. Earthworms are a friend of the soil and plants. Okay, now we have to study in a classroom. So now you know why topsoil is important for us, as it is the only place where we can grow food for ourselves and other animals. See what a small portion of the earth we have for growing food? Did you know that it takes 500 to 1,000 years to get 1 inch of topsoil? Yes, nature takes many years to make even an inch of topsoil. But did you know that even this tiny part is in danger? Yes, this part is getting smaller and smaller due to soil erosion. Oh, you didn't know about soil erosion? It is about our topsoil getting washed or blown away by water and wind. We humans are also responsible for it. We're making new houses and roads all the time, so the area for plant life is becoming smaller and smaller. You're right, the area for plant life is becoming increasingly smaller. Did you know that plants help in stopping soil erosion? Look at this. On one side there are plants, and on the other side it is plain land. When rain comes, plants hold the soil, so it isn't eroded on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, there are no plants or trees, so the land is getting eroded. So we see plants are very important in preventing soil erosion. So you see, plants are very important. They not only give us food, clothes, and many other things, but they also save our soil from being eroded. But we humans are cutting down trees without planting new ones. We're putting more animals to graze in small areas, so the protective layer of the earth is decreasing. Let's go to the laboratory and see an experiment on how plants help in decreasing soil erosion. So let's put water in both of these. So we saw today that plants and trees are very important for us. If we don't save them, then more soil erosion will occur, and the area for plant growth will become smaller and smaller. I hope everybody understands that we need to plant more trees and should avoid cutting them down. Otherwise, there won't be any soil left for growing food. Here's an interesting question for you. Did you know that natural erosion is good for the earth?